Hello. So we're here to talk about community. These are three of India's most iconic community builders sitting with her on stage. They've been in this space for a very, very long time. When I was new in 2021, I had seen Pareen's founder house community everywhere. Devfolio, Eat India, all over my timeline. Dsouza. It's always been such an important part of India's crypto culture. So before we begin, I just want everyone to talk on stage to talk about what role has community played in your crypto journey and why is it significant even today in 2025. Divisa, we can start with you.
Uh, Thanks. And Kashvi's herself been a great community builder. So great to share the stage with great friends over here. And for me, I'm a nerd. I think there is that at least one element uh, that there is somebody who are early users, early adopters. I think I did my first on-chain transaction almost 10 years ago when Ethereum was $7 or something. And the whole idea that I love is sharing with other humans. Like at the last level, the community that's one humanity, one family. And in that fashion, I love sharing whatever I discover. I think that's the way, you push somebody out and then they challenge yourself and then you build with people. So in that fashion, I think largely I've experimented and then I feel that technology sometimes has to be humanized. So that's why I think Zoe houses and those kind of, and that's why I love the NFTs that, maybe they are more fun and less nerdy. So the expansiveness of technology has to keep progressing.
Definitely. Denver?
Yeah, so we started with like hackathons. We just like regular neighborhood hackathon, friendly hackathon organizers. And at some point, we decided to build a platform to manage these hackathons. And incidentally, the very first hackathon that we ended up hosting after we built this platform called Devfolio was ETH India. And even we did not know much about crypto or much else, honestly. But then when we saw like what the power of that community is, it felt really special. And that brought about that curiosity and the simple fact that in crypto, I'm just a Telegram DM away from like literally anyone in the space and everybody's so accessible. That really changed things personally for me. And that's why we decided to double down on crypto, and it was like, great to be able to host events in this space rather than like more sort of corporate-ish spaces like Web2. Yeah.
Definitely. I feel that way about crypto as well. Pareen?
Awesome. I think it started with the community that was on Twitter, slowly converted into Telegram groups, and then events like Denver did. I think these were the key to bring entire Indian industry together. And then I think most of us did aim to go global. Uh, the biggest thing that I think has helped in terms of community is it started very small. I think the first few ETH Indias, even the one after COVID 2022, was uh, was friends, meeting friends. You came here to meet your friends and learn from each other. And every year you are talking on Twitter, but now this is the first time you're seeing each other here. From there, a lot of things just serendipitously popped up, right? When you do this, something like what's happening at IBW right now, people start businesses together, people work with each other, people invent things, build things. So a lot of these things have now matured into what we can see into large companies today, large communities today, and they have now themselves become a seeding ground for newer ideas. So it's almost like it's expanding from the nucleus, and now if I go to Eat Denver or I think any other event, I can see a lot of this early community right there, and it feels at home when we go do this there as well.
That's a very beautiful way of putting it, expanding from the nucleus. And the nucleus has been Bangalore for so long. And
And I would say Devfolio as well.
Devfolio for sure.
Polygon, Devfolio.
Huge players. So, Pareen, when did you start Founders House? and how have you evolved into leading founder initiatives at Monad? For those of you who don't know, Monad recently did a TGE which was really successful and have been building a very strong community of developers and users for as long as, I think at least it's been a year in the making or more than that. But tell
3
us
years.
three, three, 3 years in the making. So please tell us more about how has this come about.
So one thing that I'm not an engineer coder. I just like to build things. I learned programming like back in the day. What motivated a lot of us who come from Web 2 is Social Network, the movie, or watching TVF pictures and stuff like that, and thinking, we can build software as well. This is one
Silicon
place
Valley.
where, yeah, this is one place where you don't have to get anyone's permission. And I think the ICO cycle just opened that up quite a bit. So when I got into the industry, I thought like, wow, this is a way that anyone can actually build large companies. And it was very visible with the way Polygon, Instadap, a lot of these early successes came out of the ecosystem. So since then, it's become this thing that, okay, let's work with more founders and figure out how we can build more polygons. I think now it's been third year of Founder House and 2 years of Builder Stripe before that, that I've just been saying, where is the next polygon? And I think from India, we have a ton of talent. Our job has become to streamline that and channelize it in a way that's very focused. And that becomes a global permissionless product someday. We do have a ton of great products already out of India, but what gets to that level where I think Polygon is now Decacon, and same again, I think with Devfolio is used globally. I think there are probably 5 products right now that have come out of India that are being used globally. So 3 years ago, I just said, okay, let's figure out how to work with founders. So we rented a villa far away from Whitefield in Indiranagar, and we just got 10 people to stay there and start working out. This is the third year of Founder House, and I think in last 2 years, out of 10 teams that we get, 7 of them are still alive. They don't die. And from last year's cohort, 3 of them got funded out of 10. So that's just like, okay, we are getting somewhere. This year, the team quality is much, much higher. And we have a lot more focused founders from India now. And I met Keone last year at Founder House again. And I said, I'm tired of hackathons. Let's do something concrete. So he said, why don't you join? And I do it. And he's the only one who lets me do it without being Monad exclusive or super tribal. I work with founders from all chains. And when they choose a chain, of course, Monad is one of the options. I do believe it is one of the
Of course.
best tech out there. But it's still founder's choice. Like, we don't force anyone to build on Monad as well. That's not my job also.
Yeah. Denver, I want to throw that hackathon bit to you, and I would love for you to tell us how hackathons have evolved since Devfolio started, because I know that you guys have been trying out a lot of different formats. I couldn't visit ETH India this year, but I came last year, and I was incredibly impressed to see how developers were camping over there to get their projects done. So what is the difference between how they used to be conducted and how they are being conducted now? And what is the growth trajectory that these developers can have in the future when it comes to building their own community? Because a lot of founders, developers turned founders, might not have the bandwidth to hire a marketer and do this and do that and hire an agency that charges $10,000 a month. So what is their, strategy looking like now?
Yeah. Okay, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I'm going to
Go for it.
try and be concise, and feel free to cut me off if I'm going overboard. But yeah, we started off with, since we started off with ETH India 2018, we really saw like the early settlers, right? People who were inherently interested in this, esoteric tech called crypto, which, a lot of people were like, the value prop is just you buy it and it goes up, right? But there was still some devs who were like, okay, let's see if we can try and build something with it. And that's when we got like, there was this sort of natural selection happening. And then we got like these early people who built like some amazing stuff. And we saw like all of these companies like Polygon, Instadap, and all come from those early hackathons, right? Around 22, we decided to go big, and we did like these 2,000 person hackathons, and that was really great for the ecosystem at that point of time, because what was needed was a shelling point for all the energy to come together. And like Pareen said, that it was more of a chance for everybody to meet their friends, and also we believed at that point of time that like Ethereum is the language of Ethereum is code. Like you have to write code to push the path forward. That's why we did those big hackathons, and they were great. Like a lot of really intangible benefits really came out of that. Couple of them also ended up building companies. Like I think one of my favorite groups that came out of that was like this team called Banana HQ and like Banana Wallet, and now they are building in the privacy frontier. Though I'm a little annoyed that they have gone to Solana, uh, but that's for business reasons, so it makes sense. But yeah, as we went with that, over time, like I remember there was a tweet by Pareen also. He was like, the 400 projects that were built, how many of them are products, right? After a while. And a lot of people had various reactions to that, but we realized that the truth is somewhere in the middle. These large-scale hackathons, the only thing that they can promise you at this point of time is that a lot of builders will come and test out your SDKs, and that's good. But I don't think at these large-scale hackathons you'll really get your next big dApp for your community anymore. It's really hard to build that over the weekend. So we started focusing on other models like fellowships and grants, and then like this year we decided to go like a bit more experimental. So if the true value of hackathons is actually people meeting each other and exchanging that sort of value exchange happening from between the generations of builders, why not just focus on that? That's why we did the block train hackathon, which was the hackathon on a literal train from Bangalore to Delhi. And then we did the ETH India Villa, where there were the people we usually call as judges. They came in and joined these hackers to co-build with them, right? So we've been exploring all of these interesting models. And yeah, like I think in the future, a lot of the ecosystems themselves are mature to organize their own sort of response. So we'll definitely see more experimental and more focused stuff going ahead. Yeah, and our thoughts are also changing on like, how hackathon should be. Because if you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing for a couple of years, then like it stops working at some point.
Excited to see what you guys change about the hackathon model, because this isn't just an issue that we're having in Bangalore. It's like a worldwide thing, that how can hackathons evolve? How can developers be empowered to go beyond what they are building, and grant farming in certain cases? So it's a very important topic, and it's great that you're leading the forefront and trying to help us scale, especially with DevCon coming to India next year. It's Mumbai, we were just talking about it. I'm personally so excited about it because I'm from Mumbai, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 1 year. We'll probably be having the same conversation in December 2026. DV sir, please tell us more about how the Zo community has evolved. You guys have had a global rapid expansion, and you have existed long before crypto as well. I know that NFTs have played a crucial role. Like, in what is the outlook right now, and who is your core community really? I understand that it is travelers, but I'm sure there's something that I'm missing over there.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe there are. When we travel, there is a time when it really helps you see the world and understand your own biases when you meet other cultures. The Pareen's, himself, run one of the coolest hostels back in the day as well in Goa, and so hostels is what we have now over 100, and that was the whole idea, that when you were young, The only place where we could travel to in our college days was Goa. And if young people cannot go, and I'm glad we have hostels now because I feel that Goa's not the place where young people like to travel anymore, because of all the things. So, for us and for me, it was that always that the insight that we carry is to feel like home anywhere in the world, you need a local friend. All you need is a local friend, and if somebody tells me that, I am your friend, I'll come to Antarctica or Bilaspur or Sultanpur, I don't mind going, because you have a friend over there. And naturally, just with that vision and nothing else, we just went ahead on the internet, I think within one X post. And even till today, we haven't really sold or done any sales process with our large community for our founder NFTs. It's just that those who believe in a grander vision, who share this vision with us that there's one world, there's one humanity, and the way to go, I think, beyond our planet, beyond the stars, exploring the stars, the way I see it in my worldview is that we gotta stop fighting within, and fight the larger goals, maybe to colonize Mars or maybe even the adjacent solar system with the kind of complex life we have. There is a lot of insight that we have that we haven't been able to unfold within ourselves, and especially when I look at Bharat and things like that. So I still feel that, there is a larger understanding that the eastern region carries, that India carries on a larger Vasudev Kutumbakam scale. And I think with that, we just launched the NFTs along the way. I feel if you want to build such a great ecosystem, maybe the promise of blockchain and crypto will allow us to build a fair system, hopefully. So we don't have any token per se, right? But
Yeah.
we keep doing cool stuff, bringing in people and, hacker houses, etc. So that's where, our ecosystem has continuously evolved. And, yeah.
So now the question that I want to throw to all three of you, starting with Devi sir, is if you had to build Zo from scratch in 2025, from zero, there's no backing, you don't have the years of experience, you're probably like, you don't have that much of a network, all you have is the internet and maybe some AI tools. How would you go about building Zo from scratch? And then the same question for Devfolio and Monad and Founders House as well.
Yeah, I think, our team knows that for us, it is that every day I start off the day thinking that we are at zero only.
It's always day one.
It's always zero because you don't want to carry a lot of baggage when you want to truly create with innovation, right? And in that fashion where we strongly feel is where I just said a while ago as well, that we can just directly talk with people that, hey, we have built earlier ecosystems. We are just looking for a friend in every pin code. We are looking for our own friends that can be human nodes, human nodes to connect the world together. And that's what we'll start off with, from
But
day
sir,
zero.
say that you are a 20-year-old and
Huh.
you're starting from scratch, because I think a
No,
lot of the builders here
20-year-old
are
make
young.
much better viral videos, and I think you can make the same pitch. But you got to share the vision, right? So if you are in that shared vision, if you see this insight that all you need is a friend to feel like home, and shouldn't we feel like home on the every corner of this world? I think we should. So therefore, we'll feel like one family, and we'll see beyond the differences, and see the beauty within it. So I think, if very well, 20-year-old should just, be philosophical about it and build the vibe code and launch. And I think people are doing it.
They are.
I see some people, fooling around with that idea.
That's definitely the builder's playbook of 2025, that you just ship it. Like, yes, there's philosophy, but you decide that, hey, there is something I want to do with this idea, and within 24 hours, you can actually take it to production on your own. So, Denver, what about you? If you had to build Devfolio from scratch as a 21-year-old who doesn't have as much access as, someone with your experience.
No, I think a lot of things have changed in terms of the tech stack. It's definitely easier to wipe code and your time to go to market and everything is on. But some things don't really change, right? Especially in terms of building community. So we are a little bit in a like a 1 to n stage. But if I was doing 0 to 1, I think what I would do is that I would find a niche which, like even if I was building something like Devfolio, I would find a niche to find out what's no one else is doing and how can I plug that gap, right? I think the best example of people of a community that I was generally impressed with this year is a community called Localhost. If you folks haven't heard of it, it's quite a cool community of really young, smart teenagers. And recently they put together an event where they put together the Mumbai AI Film Festival, right? They got a lot of backlash also for it, but besides the point. They managed to get so much attention because that was literally, they were the first to do it. And they shared their journey in public. They kept all their stakeholders, in the loop. They really felt everybody be part of that community, right? And I think that is still the formula when people feel a part of something that's bigger than them, and that's how you can really build this one. I think tech is more of a solved problem now. But yeah, the fundamentals of building communities is the same. You in fact have more tools now with easier video generation and content creation. So that's what I would probably do.
Interesting. Pareen?
Uh, the true answer is I don't think a 21-year-old can or even try to do something like this. It may sound pretty disappointing or discouraging, but if I were a 21-year-old, what I would do is I would actually go and contribute to the founder that I respect the most. So I would find a founder that I want to be like, and I would just go and tell them, I'm going to shadow you, I'm going to bring chai for you, I'm going to code for you, create content, whatever you need. Treat me, like your intern, and I'm going to do whatever you need me to do. If I do this for a few years, actually that learning would be so invaluable that allows me to transfer it to someone else. Maybe the only other option is to just start building my own company, and either I succeed or I fail so many times that I know what not to do and then teach people. But probably it will happen after 15 years of trial and error that I will know what to do. Otherwise, I think most of the knowledge today, unlike 10 years ago, especially Y Combinator knowledge, is completely open. I doubt anyone reads it. So that would give me a big edge as a 21-year-old if I would just go and really absorb everything that Y Combinator and Polygram says. That would put me in top 1% in the whole globe, actually.
I actually completely agree with you and have found myself doing similar things in the last 4 years, that if you really like the way someone is building something, just try to get as involved as you can, be a part of it, understand the effect that that culture has on you, because that's what you will embody in your endeavor as well. So to anyone who's trying to build a community from 0 to 1, it's actually, there is, you don't have to be a founder instantly. You can always put in the work for a few years and then decide to start your own thing, because it's like having a mentor just saves you a lot of time.
Founders are asking money, Dipinder is asking money to work with us. So how will 20-year-old
Beg, borrow, steal, but give him
respect
money.
level niche lana padega?
I would show up at Dipinder's house and be like, I will not go. I will just stay outside your house if you don't take me in, man.
Yeah.
You hustle.
That's the
Anyway, my closing question for you guys is that today, given the scale of operations that you are all three running your companies and initiatives at, if you had to cut down 80% of it and only focus on 20% that brings you maximum scale for your product and benefits for your community, what would those 20% of the activities be that you continue to run versus what you might eliminate tomorrow?
Oh,
Pareen,
wow.
sir.
I've never been accused of having processes in my whole life. Never. So my thing is always on the other side. I could have more processes, actually. So either the initiatives that I run at Monad or Founder House, I'm actually now gathering a bunch of people who can put systems in place and it runs. Last two Founder Houses were just, we were winging it. Sponsors were kind enough. Everyone was nice enough to support and the community came together. This year we have Jack, who was ex-community lead at Polygon. she's actually stepped into Founder House community to lead this, so that we can have some SOPs, we can have some regular content in place, we can have proper announcements in place. Otherwise, it's just like, guys, we rented
Vibing.
one villa, come, and then people will just show up. Same at Monad. I think we have a great team
Yeah.
that supplements my crazy ideas now, and there is a lot of process thinking in there. So I think cutting down is not what I need to do. I need to probably like
Do
ramp it
more.
up.
No, I meant if you only had to focus on 20% of your current activities, what would those activities be? So maybe it can be DMing with founders, hopping on calls. Like, what would you prioritize above everything else in your role?
I can't do anything except talk to founders. So I would love for someone else to handle everything and be like, sit on this table, here's one founder, and then second founder, and then third founder. That's absolutely, I think, what I love to do anyway, and that has the most value as well. But the rest of it is just necessary evil that we have to create
Operations.
systems and take care of it.
Yeah, Denver.
Yeah, so I think for us, this is something that you learn as an entrepreneur eventually, right? Like initially, you start off with a lot of ambition. You start small, you scale, and you think at one point you can do everything. But that's not really true. Like you just end up burning yourself out. So I think in 22, 23, those years, we actually tried to do everything. I scaled a lot, and now is actually the phase where I'm focusing on the 20%, right? And for me, the heuristic is kind of simple. Anything I do should like either add to my runway or should add to my brand. And that's a simple heuristic. It's great if I can find a way to do both, but that's just the way function, and that's really helps me cut down to like that 20% which I want to focus on.
That's awesome. It's the Pareto principle. 80% of your results come from 20% of the work that you put in. So it's always nice to know what you're prioritizing. Devi sir?
You can call me Dharamveer.
Dharamveer.
Sir, यार मैं अकेला sir बना
नहीं
दिया
sir,
है।
आप sorry हो.
अच्छा, the question is on an individual level or the organization level. What do we have to delete?
Both. Mostly organizational level, but it can be on an individual as well.
Oh, okay. See, I think I have recently moved in a non-executive role in the larger organization. So I'm actually working only 10% of time. I'm not working much. And I think in that time I just communicate with our team, so I have a lot more bandwidth. So I'm more spending time these days once again coding things. So I'm enjoying over there. And I think that's the 0 to 1 with the business as usual. Over there, I feel we can innovate, bringing in a lot more creators in the
Yes.
Zostel ecosystem. We can, that's obviously, it's been a more than a decade organization, although we are still small. But once you grow old, even in 12 years, we keep refreshing things. So I think last year we did refresh a lot of old processes.
Yeah.
And how do we open a hostel? The finding of real estate, I think that is something that we can never let go, about the 20% of things. And I think that's about it,
Yeah. The reason why I asked this question is that all three of you are at that one stage now. You guys are going from like 1 to 100 or something like that. But people right now who are at 0 are figuring out what does that one even look like for them. So these answers put into perspective that, okay, in the next few years that I'm building this is the level that I can get to. So thank you so much for all your insights. If anyone has any closing thoughts, we still have a couple. 2 minutes exactly left. So
I'll just add on that if you are in the 0 to 1 and the creation phase of anything, then you must understand that you must build not thinking that you are doing anything in a routine, but really detach everything. Every day, do things that are pushing things beyond time, rather than things that are in a routine. So that is where there is creation happening. Otherwise, you are a part of the machine, right? So in that fashion, even you'll do amazing creations.
Yeah, for me, since this panel is about communities, I would just like to give a shout out to some community builders who I think are doing amazing job in the Indian ecosystem, starting with FBI, the Farcaster Builders international team. I think they set up things really well, and they have like really focused groups. If you want to experiment, they have an on-chain rookies group. If you want to just like, be a part of the community, they have different groups. And they have really scaled things well. 0x Coordinated is also like people that I think are doing some really good job. Especially they started off with some Eigen stuff and then did a bunch of other stuff also. ETH Mumbai is probably one of the other few organic Ethereum communities that we have seen come out of India, and I have so much respect that they are continuing to take things ahead, right? And also then with Zo, right? I think that's one of the only NFTs I have that has actual utility, and I can actually gives me access to things rather than just being for the vibes. But yeah, like so much respect for all of these. Like pay close attention to what all of these people are doing, be part of all of these communities, and I think you'll eventually find things going ahead. There's one more which I think people do not know so much about. It's called, or maybe like, there's something called decentralized.co. They have a newsletter as well, and that's also people who are doing really good stuff. But I think crypto is really great for this, for being part of this community. The permissionless nature of crypto lets people build on each other, and that's really great. Like even like with Boundless, the campaign that you did with like Get Verified and stuff, that really let everybody be a part of it, right? And I'm not saying that's just because you're a moderator, but yeah.
I'll add a shout out to IBW and Hashed as well. I think amazing work by the team and everybody over here. This is a great community that organizers have brought together, guys.
Pareen, any closing thoughts that you wanted to add, or?
I would say just there are too many avenues in India right now. You're spoiled for choice. Hang out with whoever you want to hang out with and start contributing. The problem with most people is they start looking at what can I get out of a community. The mindset should be, how can I contribute to a community? As long as you do that anywhere, you're going to be welcome and you're going to learn so much.
Satyog aa jayega yaar, aisa zyada karte.
Arey, baap re. Not Satyug, it's in self-interest, but
everyone's busy taking,
bro.
Be part of the Bhai Cabal.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you so much for all your incredible insights today. I hope that this is an insightful panel for everyone that's listening to this. I know that it was for me as a community builder. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Best, most fun panel, guys.